Peace and love, you guys. Salute. Hope everybody is well. You guys, I wanted to speak about, unfortunately, another matter at hand concerning some very disparaging, hellacious comments that came by way of Ryan Garcia's platform today, where unfortunately the beautiful brother Champside was amid the tirade, the senselessness, the ridiculousness of such a conversation that was so blatantly ignorant, willfully disparaging, and 100% disrespectful. I'm so absolutely mind numbed by it all that I really don't even know how I'm going to begin with this, but it must be said. I tapped into a live with Champside yet again, just as yesterday. And Champside was giving some light to a conversation that he had had with Ryan earlier today. And what I heard was so absolutely appalling that ultimately, even though I stayed for a good bit of the show, ultimately I had to exit the chat because I was so disgusted, you guys. I'm not even going to hold you. Absolutely disgusted by what I heard. I was 100% dumbfounded. I could not believe that what I was hearing was actually taking place or had actually taken place between adults. I was so highly appalled and offended by what I heard today that in the aftermath, in looking retrospectively at what was said in that panel with Ryan Garcia on his spaces today, I believe it was on Twitter that they held it, just the same as yesterday when Champside appeared on the panel. I was so absolutely offended by what I heard that I found myself thinking of ways of organizing and centralizing some type of means and basis from which conscious Black boxing content creators can commune and possibly create some systems that can uphold a focused or concentrated voice for us, so that in the event that these things happen, there is an immediate backlash from a centralized position from conscious Black intellectual boxing content creators that can provide the necessary pushback that will prohibit any future ignorant stances and disrespectful, condescending conversations or any type of posturing towards our community can be dealt with from a unified boxing front of us people who do this boxing content creating. It left me thinking about a centralized means for us to have a concentrated voice in support of each other, in support of Black boxing and the culture that stands in tandem with it. We need something that allows for us in all of our differences and all of our variations to still have a unified place to share our passion for boxing and our culture in tandem. After what I heard today, I feel such a need to organize and create or find our own measures that will provide a collective way for the Black boxing community, whether we are fans or actually media or whatever, All of us who share this perspective of consciousness and respect for ourselves, respect for boxing as a whole, and of course, ultimately, above all, our culture. So that we can hold people like Ryan, billionth of a goddamn Graham Garcia, and any of his sympathizers, and simp being the key word here, being the operative word, accountable for all the fallacious statements against Black people and Black culture that I heard permeating all throughout this discussion on that panel today, or what you want to call a panel. Another mouth was used to convey the folly of Ryan Garcia. But with Ryan's blatant, unapologetic interjections in support of his friends, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, guests or whoever the hell they were in that panel, another mouthpiece was used instead of Ryan's, but it was certainly echoing and sharing some shared sentiments for the reason for his interjections and, oh no, but that's not right, or oh no, he's not wrong. All of those sentiments set out to defame and publicly scorn not only Champside, but Champside was a representative of a collective Black consciousness within the boxing world, and Black content creators and fans who have been pushing a counter dialogue, as I said yesterday, and who look to oppose Ryan's blatant drug cheating, his deceit of the boxing world, and that of the pandering YouTube channels and boxing authorities who also share the delusion of assuming that Ryan Garcia is somehow, a daffodil among the scandal, and to be protected and to be, put up and in position, assuming innocence that is not reality on his part. All of these people wanting to uphold the delusion of Ryan's innocence while they simultaneously debase and berate the image of Black fighters, aka Devin Haney in this situation, and as a whole, and Black content creators operating off of base of consciousness and pride for their culture, and Black fans who also speak out against his imbecility and drug cheating. That is what was at hand today. There was a deeply disparaging conversation held, once again, as I said, on Ryan's Twitter today. What is up with this platform? So he got cooked so bad by Champside yesterday that now he wanted to create a whole nother panel dedicated to Black people because he got his fucking ass whipped on an intellectual level by one. The title of this so-called discussion was called Anti. And I wonder what it was anti. Because the entire thing spoke about Black people, so it must have been anti-Black. On this panel, Ryan took it upon himself to bring up a topic and what he thought were points on Black culture and Black people. And he had someone on his panel, interestingly enough, and specifically a Black man who began spewing all types of abhorrent, disgusting, mindless, and absolutely vile views that were all based in information, all based in historically racist stereotype and neo-racist delusion about our culture and his own, because this person that was speaking is a Black man, as I stated. This was, again, a Black cohort or friend or guest of his, this man that got up on the platform by way of Ryan Garcia. This mindless coon. And yes, I will use that word as heavily as can be applied here because that's what it was. A whole coon was up there boasting about how Black people killed themselves via the infamous lie referred to as Black on Black crime, and that we kill ourselves more than any other group of people, more than any other culture, of people. He cited the racially biased, politically generated term, black on black crime here, you guys. And he used this term as his point of banter under the guise of him wanting and hoping to, quote, see black people do better. Black people, he wants to see you do better. Do you hear that? Whoever the fuck this person is that has no historical information, no interest in the education of his own fucking self, but he wants black people to do better. Who the fuck are you? Apparently, we collectively as black people are so far gone and degenerate a people that we need Ryan Garcia and his panel to broadcast to his followers that we are backward and needing to get into a state of uprightness really quickly so that we can finally be of worth in this world. Ain't that something? The black man who was speaking so utterly idiotically and without any basis, historical context, decided to also add, quote, that black people buy Jordans and go to prison. He also stated within this live call, he suggested, it's just absolutely mind-blowing, you guys. He suggested that if you keep black people away from you for 21 days, just sit back and watch how much your life will be improved. No cap, y'all. This is what this motherfucker said. He also said something like about only 0.4% of black people are worth a damn. You guys, I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. I really could not. Ryan chooses, you guys, to within 24 hours of calling Champside a racist on his public platform, and also coming off of calling two other black men, as I stated in yesterday's commentary, racists also, all within a month of each other, never having called anyone else, mind you, who is non-black such a term, decides to go on a live talking about black on black violence. During a particular point on this call, he then goes on to tell Champside, this is Ryan now, Ryan speaking, after the coon sits down, after he finished sicking his coon on Champside. Ryan proceeds to tell Champside, in his own voice now, not the mouthpiece's voice, but in his own, that Champside is, quote, promoting an agenda on his platform that black people can do no wrong. Where the fuck does he get such a crazy thought from? First of all, what the fuck does he mean? Let's break that down. Let's break it down real good. Though his opinion is absolutely absurd, incorrect, and nothing short of highly misinformed delusion and evasion from the real issue at hand, which is his drug cheating against Devin Haney, what Ryan is actually positing within his statement to Champside and to black conscious media on YouTube is that he takes an issue with the fact that Champside and his content are centered around black sportsmen and black culture unapologetically. Champside shows respect to all athletes that exemplify and showcase a level of elite skill and experience. Doesn't matter the background. He gives credit where it's due. He has no problem looking at a good athlete and saying, yeah, this dude is fire. I like him as a fighter. Or backing them because he likes them as a fighter. It is not a secret, however, that black athletes, as I spoke about in my Black Codes video a little bit ago, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It is no secret that black athletes dominate the boxing world. And that dominance spans across a plethora of sports, as we know. Because Champside holds these black athletes, particularly in boxing, because he does all types of content, but he is, highly centered around boxing. Because he focuses and centers his content around elite black athletes, Ryan and many other mindless people who make such accusations about him being racist and being mad that he celebrates black excellence. They say this not only about Champside, but other black content creators. And trust me, I've seen my share too. And I'm a very new channel, barely 7 months old. And I've seen it. But they posit that any platform that centralizes and celebrates black athletes and elite black athletes, that they are racist because what they really don't like is the reality that black excellence is the standard, bar none, in boxing. And it has been the standard for boxing for a century or over that, for as long as it has been a part of American pop culture. This is nothing but a continuance, as stated in my Black Codes video. Once again, go check it out because it is important. A historically racist, prejudiced notion and bias against the dominance of black males in competition and as a whole in this country. There is a problem that many people have with that, and Ryan's sentiments only echo it. Let's not forget, Ryan had to juice the fuck up to feel that he was on some sort of equal footing and playing field against an elite black man on April 20th. Let's not forget. Let's not fucking deflect either. Ryan, with such a myopic and disrespectful statement, is doing nothing but mirroring and echoing these sentiments based within virulent anti-black delusion that persists today, just as it has historically. Now, the idiotic coon that was on his call pulled every type of shucking and jiving statement and sentiment that one can think of. I mean, you name it. This man was probably bucking his eyes and tap dancing and eating Popeyes while he was talking on a goddamn call. He went as far as to say, you guys, that white impoverished neighborhoods and communities do not have crime. When Champside brought up and exposed how bereft his statement was and reminded him that black people are not a monolith and gave an example of affluence in the black community, in a community named DeSoto, Texas, I believe, the ignorant coon responded to this saying, oh, well, people there die all the time. As if there isn't death everywhere. As if death itself is exclusively a black problem. Do you guys hear this? Apparently, black people are the only people that commit crimes and experience, impoverishment and anything systematically linked with economic, political, and cultural marginalization within this country and worldwide. Apparently, that's only a goddamn black thing. What the fuck is going on, y'all? This caller's entire objective was to be a functioning mouthpiece for Ryan and his deluded, simp-minded sympathizers by trying to show them and impose a notion that black people are essentially inherently degenerate, which leads them to kill themselves by the droves via the blanket racist term black on black violence, which is a phenomena that does not fucking exist. There is no such thing as black on black violence if we cannot also use the term Mexican on Mexican violence, or Irish on Irish violence, or Jewish on Jewish violence, or Chinese on Chinese violence, or Christian on fucking Christian violence. I am beyond appalled and offended by what I heard when Champside was playing that on his page today. I literally had to exit fucking stage left. I was disgusted. The odious and repulsive notion that there is a standard of being and uprightness that is the good, decent white person who is so above and void of such notions within their communities as crime and historical baggage and financial stress and people that actually go to prison in those communities. And, they don't have to deal with that because somehow they are more intelligent, forthright people who should be held as a standard and as an example for the fucking capricious, volatile, depraved black people who just can't, god darn it, seem to get it together. It is so absolutely mind-blowing, you guys. I cannot even say. It is so disrespectful. And that I will posit again, that I believe that there are some measures that need to be taken by us conscious black boxing goers, as aforementioned, and fans alike, and people in general who just do not stand for this type of bullshit being plastered about publicly, disrespecting our people and our culture, no matter what background we have. It is offensive and it is highly unacceptable and intolerable. Something has to be done on a collective level to apply the pressure necessary to interject at the least bit and prohibit any type of spewing of false, offensive, disparaging narratives about our community that, firstly, he is not a fucking a part of. How the fuck dare he, you guys? Are we black people hosting public calls speaking about Mexicans and what they need to clean up in their fucking backyards? No disrespect to the Mexican community, but are we talking about y'all? Are we looking into your windows and having discussions about crime rates and how you need to pull yourselves up by your bootstrap and hope that no wall gets built? Are we calling them alcoholics and telling them that they should know better than to join malicious gangs and go to jail and leave their women raising 15 goddamn children? If such were the case, no. Whether it's true or not, we are not doing that because we don't speak on things that do not concern us. We don't go on major public platforms spewing shit about any goddamn, any one particular culture. Because we have tact and respect that whatever cultural group is living and dealing with their problems or their triumphs alike, we have faith that you will deal with it on your own, as you should, within and amongst yourselves as a community or as a particular culture. We do not interject in anybody's goddamn business. Black people have that respect to not do that. It is not, unfortunately, reciprocated from other people as it pertains to us, however. We are not going around meddling in other people's business, especially without any semblance of historical, cultural, political context that correlates directly to you. Not only presently, but as a whole. Also, Ryan bitch Garcia, nor his panelists have any vested interest, obviously, in the depths or the well-being of Black, African, Caribbean, or diasporic history, education, political views, representation, or economic matters whatsoever to be even opening their mouths to utter a single word about the state or well-being or future or past of anything related to our history or our people. Keep my people's name and culture out your fucking mouths. You think because Ryan Garcia, you throwing a fucking chain around your neck and make rap songs that you're like us? You are not like us, like Kendrick said. How dare you spew such insidious, loathsome content across your platform regarding my culture? You worry about your fucking own. I am astonished, y'all. What I want to know is, where are the Black conscious boxing fans and the Black conscious people in general? We need your voices. We need your outcry. We need your backlash. In what community would such a public spectacle and disrespect and misrepresentation be allowed to persist? Can we go on making such statements about the Jewish or Asian community in such a vile, insidious, thoughtless way? Could we spew incorrect, misinformed, and blatant prejudice and fallaciousness about the Mexican community? We get slack just from fucking having a pound for pound list that doesn't have a Mexican on it. Or maybe one or two. We get slack just for that in these boxing streets, for saying that Terrence Bud Crawford is pound for pound #1 in the world. We get slack for that alone. All we got to do is say Tank Davis is the face of boxing. Terrence Bud Crawford is the face of boxing. Devin Haney is the face of boxing. And here go the motherfucking delusional, prejudiced people all out the woodworks. We don't even got to do much, let alone for us to get on a public platform, speak publicly, disrespecting and debasing their culture. We would never do such a thing. He has no place whatsoever or galvanizing people in a dialogue, a discussion whatsoever about our culture or any other culture for that matter, that he is not a part of, nor does he respect, nor does he have any vested interest in. He needs to watch his fucking mouth and worry about trying not to cheat in the future against another elite black man who gives you a complex about your virility or lack thereof, skill or lack thereof, and manhood or lack their motherfucking of. Watch your goddamn mouth. We need conscious people speaking about this and giving backlash towards this, particularly people of my culture, but anybody with a sense of cognizance, intelligibility about what is senseless and what is unacceptable, boxing or otherwise. It is not permissible in any way for you to get on any platform defaming and berating a culture that you have no love for and no respect for, obviously, other than you fucking culture vulturing as much as you can. Posing as something that you're not so that you can feel popular and get some likes on some shit. Like I said, you're not like us. Anyway, conscious black content creators, we need organization. We need to form a basis of communication that will not leave any of us who have and share this passion for boxing and share of passion for our culture to have any one person left out there to just defend themselves. I mean, in the aftermath of any type of charade such as this one. But that where we can provide support to each other, where we can provide information and even press motherfuckers if we have to on a within our content, within our research, and within the information that we put out. Do not let up on putting your voices on truth and power to what it is that you see. Do not be intimidated by people leaving negative comments, all types of prejudice, stereotypical comments all up in your section. You keep your foot on these people's necks and you stand on your business and you put that fire down. Put it all the way down. I don't give a damn who's watching. Nobody gets to disrespect our people and disrespect us on some boxing shit or otherwise. It does not stand here. And people need to be reminded of that. Period. Anyway, you guys, I think I'm going to end it here. I'm going to have to because y'all don't want to see me actually worked up. Anyway, I'm on to the next, y'all. Salute. Peace.